Welcome. I'm Terri Allison. I'm the Assistant Dean of Academics, Doctoral Nursing Practice. And this session is going to be discussing the Doctor of Nursing Practice program here at Vanderbilt University School of Nursing. Maybe one of your first questions is, should I get a doctorate? And if so, what kind? So the PhD and the DNP are similar in some regards. The PhD is a research-focused degree. The Doctor of Nursing Practice degree is practice-focused. Both degrees share a rigorous and demanding expectations, and they both approach the discipline of nursing from a scholarly perspective. And they're both committed to advancement of the profession. Both are considered terminal degrees. One is in practice, that is the DNP degree, and one is in research, the PhD. Maybe you're questioning, should I get a doctorate? Well, there's some things you might want to reflect on. Is this the right time for me to pursue a doctorate? That is an individual decision. What is your life like? Do you have time to add the effort and the time necessary to get your doctorate? You're going to have to put aside some other things going on in your life. Does your work schedule allow for you to do that? Does your family life or your personal life allow you the time to pursue a doctorate? How should you choose a program? Does the curriculum offer you what you want to achieve with a doctorate? Does it match your goals? And how do you get into a program? You know, that will vary based on schools. Some schools have a finite deadline by which you must submit your application for a particular academic year. Here at Vanderbilt, we have what we call rolling admissions. We do have a priority review deadline of December 1st, but we accept applications throughout the year until early summer. So individuals have quite a bit of time to get their application in and to make a decision about that. How will you pay for your education? Hopefully you will have attended the financial aid session associated with Open House, but most students do pay for their education with their personal resources, but also combined with their student loans and other options. So you might be also considering, in terms of should you get a doctorate, what are going to be my career opportunities? How will the DNP change what I do in practice? You are already a nurse with an advanced practice degree, and what the DNP will do is add skills to what you already know. So it will change how you think about what you do in practice. Can you teach with a DNP? Yes, you can teach nursing with a Doctor of Nursing Practice degree. You can teach with a PhD. You can teach with doctorates in other fields. The doctorate education itself doesn't necessarily prepare you to be a nurse educator. And we will need all types of doctorates for individuals who wish to teach. So a DNP and a PhD both can be an opportunity for you to enter into the academic world. Will you earn more money? Well, that could be debatable. Maybe not necessarily at first. Let's say you're a nurse practitioner, you're relatively young in your career as a nurse practitioner, and you get your Doctor of Nursing Practice degree. You may not earn more money initially, but what the doctorate does is open up doors of opportunity, regardless of what your advanced nursing practice preparation is. And so you may become marketable in other ways. You have an added skill set that can contribute to the organization in which you work. And so your earning potential may increase because of those factors. Why should you choose Vanderbilt? You know, there are a lot of DNP programs out there. What sets us apart? One is that we have experienced leaders in doctoral education. Our DNP program enrolled its first class in 2008 and graduated that class in 2010. So we have a lot of experienced leaders in doctoral education. We've been doing this for a long time now, and we have that experience that influences how we interact with students and how we designed our program. We have diversity, and hopefully by now you've heard enough about our school that we embrace diversity. But the other thing is, so we have diverse faculty, but we also have faculty that are prepared in almost all of the advanced nursing practice specialties, and that creates a richness and an ability of us to meet students that come to us with diverse backgrounds, either academically, socially, ethnically. That diversity really enriches our program. Our culture and philosophy is one that embraces mentoring. We walk with students down that path to achieve their degree. You know, you're here to earn that degree. We don't expect you to have all the answers, but we will guide you and walk with you. You will find that our faculty are approachable, and it is part of our culture that we are there and available for students. You will not be doing this degree on your own. Even though our students are all over the country, you will stay connected to the school and to the faculty, because that's the way we think about our doctoral education. And faculty are committed to students. As I said, faculty are approachable. You will be able to get in contact with them. Most of our communication is electronic, but these days we do use a lot of face-to-face communication via Zoom. Faculty are very responsive to students. And then we have tremendous expertise in using distance learning modalities. Vanderbilt, or the School of Nursing on the Vanderbilt campus, has really been at the forefront of distance education, but we have a very robust distance learning support structure within the school so that we can meet almost any student's needs for distance education and distance learning. We also have resources for student success. We have writing support, we have academic support, we have student wellness support. We have a lot of resources in the school that students can connect with to help them be successful in the program. So let me talk a little bit more about the DNP in depth and about our curriculum. So the DNP places a greater emphasis on practice. There is less emphasis on theory, on meta theory, and research methodology, as well as statistics. Now, don't get me wrong, you will still talk about theory, you'll talk about research methodology, and you will also have a course on statistics, because to interpret the evidence and make a difference in practice, you have to understand those components. But compared to the PhD, there is less emphasis on those elements. The DNP includes an integrative practice experience and an intense practice immersion experience. The majority of our students have those experiences where they work, in their employment setting. Some students do that practice immersion in another site from where they're employed. Some students are not employed in a site that's appropriate for their DNP practice integration. In that case, we will help them identify other settings in which they might do that practice immersion. And then students complete a practice application-oriented DNP project that's focused on improving something in practice. The benefits of the Doctor of Nursing Practice degree is that graduates will develop needed advanced competencies for an increasingly complex practice role. We know healthcare is becoming more complex, and so you will have a skill set to be able to address those and be able to function in that complex healthcare environment. The DNP may help you become prepared for a faculty role. And then inherent in the DNP education is an emphasis on leadership, and you'll be prepared to take on leadership roles. Not necessarily administration, although that is an option, but leadership roles in improving practice within your organization. The DNP degree also prepares graduates with an enhanced knowledge to improve nursing practice and patient outcomes. And that might be from a clinical perspective, but also for those of you that are in health systems practice or nursing informatics, that you're able to improve practice in your area of expertise. And graduates also have enhanced leadership skills to strengthen practice and healthcare delivery. The DNP is based on 8 foundational competencies. Those competencies are outlined in what the DNP Essentials. I have a link to that document at the end of this talk, but those 8 foundational competencies are related to advanced nursing practice. Some of you are APRNs and will have patient care competencies. Some of you are in systems practice and will have systems and organizational competencies. So you have specialty practice competency expectations. But those 8 foundational competencies apply regardless of whether you are a clinical practice or a systems level practice. The DNP project produces tangible and deliverable academic product that's derived from that practice immersion experience. And the project is reviewed and evaluated by an academic committee, that is the faculty that are assigned to guide you through that project process. The DNP project includes planning, implementation, and evaluation components. So you will develop a proposal that addresses all of those components. And that project will focus on a change that impacts healthcare outcomes. And those healthcare outcomes or that change may have a direct care or an indirect care emphasis. The DNP project has a systems or population or aggregate focus. As a master's prepared individual or as someone coming in with a bachelor's degree who's going to end their education with the DNP, you are learning how to take care of one patient at a time or a smaller healthcare system. And within the DNP and with the project, you're going to look at patient care or healthcare system issues at the systems level, at the population or the aggregate level, rather than at the one patient at a time. You're going to implement that project in an area of practice, particularly related to your area of expertise. The project needs to have a plan for sustainability. You are addressing a problem or an issue that needs to be improved, so you're going to have a plan to continue that work after you complete your project for the purposes of the degree. That project plan will also include an evaluation of the processes or the outcomes that guides practice and policy. So again, what's the significance of the problem and what's the significance of the outcomes after you've implemented that project? And then that project may provide a foundation for future practice scholarship. Some students go on to continue work related to what they did with their project after they graduate with their degree. Now there's some myths that I would like to discuss that you might have heard about, and then maybe counter those myths with what the reality is. You may hear that the DNP degree will have an adverse impact on the PhD. And the reality is that the DNP preserves the integrity of the PhD as a true research degree. Prior to development of the DNP, there really was not a true practice-focused nursing doctorate. And so many nurses got a PhD or some other type of doctorate in nursing or in some other discipline in order to advance their education. Now with the DNP, the PhD is preserved for those who truly want a research career, and the DNP is for those who want a career in practice. Another myth is that all nurses in advanced nursing practice will need to get a practice doctorate. The reality is that nurses in advanced practice will need to decide their own career trajectory. A doctoral degree is not in the cards for some people. Maybe that's not their career goal. So each individual will decide what their career path should be. The American Association of Colleges of Nursing recommends that the doctorate be the entry point for advanced nursing practice graduates, but it is not a requirement. The National Organization for Nurse Practitioner Faculties endorses the DNP as the entry into nurse practitioner practice by 2025. So again, that is still in the future, and there are efforts being made to address those goals, but again, it's in process. Right now, the certifying organizations for any advanced practice specialty, whether it's systems or clinical, does not require the doctorate for certification or for recertification. So you need to stay abreast of what's happening in your discipline or in your specialty about whether the doctorate is going to be needed for practice in the future. Another myth is that all advanced nursing practice educators will need the practice doctorate. The reality is, faculty of the future will all require a doctorate, but some will have a practice doctorate, some will have the PhD, and some will have doctorates in other areas. Doctorally prepared nurses in advanced practice will have different practice skills than master's prepared nurses in advanced practice. The reality is that doctorally prepared nurses in advanced practice will have enhanced practice skills. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're a nurse practitioner taking care of children, you're a pediatric nurse practitioner, and as a nurse practitioner student in your MSN program, you learned how to look in ears with an otoscope and diagnose an ear infection. And so then you could develop a treatment plan for that patient with an ear infection. As a doctorally prepared nurse, you are thinking about that population of patients with an ear infection, and maybe we need to improve how we care for those patients. Maybe there's a different plan that we should be following based on the evidence for the care of that population of patients. And that's an example of what a doctorally prepared nurse the skills that might be acquired with the DNP compared to the MSN. So let me talk a bit about the DNP curriculum at Vanderbilt. Our curriculum is comprised of 36 credits. We have two plan options. There is the 5-semester plan and the 6-semester plan. These two plans are very similar to each other with the exception of when you start the course in which you do your DNP project. With the 5-semester plan, the project course starts in the spring semester, semester 2. With the 6th-semester option, the project course starts in the summer in semester 3 of the plan of study. And that project course continues over a total of 4 semesters. Within that 36 credits, we offer you complete 4 elective credits, and I'll have some examples of our electives in just a moment. And then students complete a minimum of 500 postmaster's practice hours that are integrated across the curriculum. Most of those practice hours are completed within the DNP project course over 4 semesters, but students do acquire practice hours in the other coursework that they complete and other activities that they engage in as a doctoral student. If you are completing a BSN to DNP program, you will complete other practice hours or clinical hours as well. Now, these 500 postmaster's practice hours are doctoral practice hours, and they're different than the clinical hours you may have completed in a previous education program. This is just an example of our 5-semester plan of study. It's posted on our website if you want to look in more detail about what that curriculum looks like. There are a number of entry pathways to the DNP degree at Vanderbilt. You can enter as a postmaster's DNP student, and that is you have achieved a master's degree in an advanced clinical practice track. You can enter as a postmaster's DNP student in the advanced systems practice track or to the executive leadership track. Students can enter with an MSN in nursing education to either the DNP advanced systems track or the executive leadership track. Students may come in with a DNP and add a postmaster's certificate, or we offer 2 pathways for students with the Bachelor of Nursing Science degree to complete either an adult gerontology acute care nurse practitioner and graduate with their doctorate, or an emergency nurse practitioner. And then for other students that enter with a BSN, they complete the MSN on their way to the DNP. So for students that come into the advanced clinical practice track, those individuals would have a Master of Science degree in nursing and be an advanced practice registered nurse or an APRN and be certified in their area of practice and specialty. So this track is applicable to nurse practitioners, clinical nurse specialists, certified registered nurse anesthetist, and certified nurse midwives. The advanced systems practice track has several entry points. This track is for students with a Master of Science in Nursing in Healthcare Leadership or in Nursing Informatics. We also have a pathway for individuals that have a master's degree in a non-nursing health-related field, such as a Master of Business Administration, a Master's in Public Health, or some other health-related master's degree. And then we have a pathway for nurses with an MSN in nursing education and also in a systems leadership role or have systems leadership experience. I'll talk more about that pathway in a few minutes. The DNP Executive Leadership track is for nurses who are experienced nurse executives. So they are middle or high-level nurse executives within organizations. These individuals can come in to the DNP Executive Leadership track with an MSN in Healthcare Leadership or with an MSN in other advanced nursing practice specialties. Some clinical advanced practice nurses or APRNs are actually serving in nurse executive roles, and so they would be eligible for the executive leadership track. Those individuals with a master's in a non-nursing healthcare related field, again, are eligible for the executive leadership track. And then if they have individuals with an MSN in nursing education who are also a nurse executive. Individuals who enter this executive leadership track must be certified or eligible for certification in leadership, either through the American Organization of Nurse Leaders or the American Nurses Credentialing Center, the ANCC, or they may be a fellow in the American College of Healthcare Executives, or it might be an individual who's in a leadership position and has the Health Information and Management Systems Society certification. So these are this executive leadership track is for nurse executives who are certified or eligible for certification in one of those areas. And then the executive leadership track includes advanced courses in executive leadership, organization and systems leadership, economics, and finance. The remainder of the DNP curriculum for the EL track is the same as for all DNP students. Nurses with an MSN in nursing education are eligible to apply to the Doctor of Nursing Practice Advanced Systems track or the executive leadership track, depending on what their previous advanced nursing practice experience or their previous experience has been. And this is an entry pathway for nurses in leadership roles who have an MSN in nursing education. Applicants complete the nursing and healthcare leadership courses based on a gap analysis of their MSN. What we know is that nurses in advanced systems or executive leadership practice must have background in leadership, finance, and quality improvement. Some MSN in nursing education curriculums include one or two of these MSN leadership courses. We rarely find an MSN in nursing education that includes all three. So an individual with an MSN in nursing education would complete between 3 to 9 credits of MSN level leadership courses prior to enrollment in the DNP courses. So this gap analysis will determine what courses are required for that person based on their MSN in nursing education, and then those MSN level courses are completed over the 1 year prior to starting the DNP plan of study. Nurses with an MSN who want to add another specialty can apply to the DNP. You complete the postmaster's certificate first, followed by the DNP courses. You would complete, when you initiate an application, you initiate a DNP application, and you have an opportunity to indicate in the application that you want to add a postmaster's certificate. The program of study is individualized based on your prior MSN education, but typically the curriculum includes, or the postmaster's certificate includes 20 to 30 semester credit hours completed over 3 semesters that are added to the DNP curriculum. Postmaster's courses can also count as the DNP elective credit hours. So an individual who's completing a DNP plus a postmaster's certificate would complete on average 20 to 30 semester credit hours of the postmaster's certificate plus 32 DNP elective credits. I'm sorry, DNP credits. And so you would not need to complete additional DNP elective credits. We do have the BSN to DNP pathway for adult gerontology, acute care nurse practitioner students, or emergency nurse practitioner students. These plans of study are 8 semesters long. They're completed over 2 years and 2 semesters. The number of credits for the adult gero ACNP pathway is 67 credits. The emergency nurse practitioner pathway is 77 credit hours. And these 2 plans of study as a BSN to DNP are fewer credits than if you were to complete the MSN followed by the DNP. Specialty courses are completed first over the first 5 to 6 semesters with core DNP classes integrated within that curriculum. And then you will gradually transition from specialty clinical coursework into DNP specific practice coursework. Students will graduate with a DNP degree with a focus on expert clinical practice in acute care and critical care or in emergency care, depending on the pathway that they've chosen. And then finally, we have a pathway for students in other specialties who come into the school with a Bachelor of Nursing Science degree. Those individuals apply to the Master of Science in Nursing program. They complete their Master's of Science in Nursing, and upon completion of the MSN, students are eligible to seamlessly progress from the Advanced Practice MSN program to the DNP program. In order to do this, you apply to the MSN specialty. No additional application is required for transition to the DNP program. We will have information sessions in your final year of the MSN about how you make that seamless transition to the DNP. As I mentioned earlier, we do offer a number of electives. We have 3 education courses. One of the financial aid opportunities for individuals who want an education focus after they finish their DNP, who want to transition into academia or are maybe currently working in a faculty role, can take advantage of a nurse faculty loan repayment program. And the requirements for that loan is that you take education courses. So we offer those. We have courses in palliative care. We have courses in obesity. We have a course in lean methodology, which is a quality improvement methodology. We have a course in global health. We have a interprofessional course on LGBTI health that is offered within the School of Nursing, but students from across campus engage in that course. We have courses in genetics, in cancer, and then if there is not an elective that interests the student, then students can design an independent study. They would partner with a faculty mentor to determine the objectives of that independent study and what the deliverables are going to be. So it's individualized to the student to meet their educational and career goals. We do have a DNP fellowship in genetics. This program is for family or pediatric nurse practitioners. The fellowship requires admission to the DNP program simultaneous with employment in the Department of Pediatrics in the Division of Medical Genetics and Genomic Medicine. So it's a 2-part process. Admission to the DNP, and then you would apply for an available position in the Division of Medical Genetics and Genomic Medicine. So being able to offer that fellowship is dependent on funding and a position available at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. So if you're interested in that fellowship, we can give you more information about that at the time. Students are required to come to campus for a week-long intensive. It's really 3 to 4 days. It's usually 4 days most often, 3 times a year. The These sessions occur at the beginning of the semester. We launch courses. We have invited lecturers that are often nationally or internationally known. We have time to get to know faculty, get to know your peers, meet with faculty and classmates. The times of year that we offer those intensives are the last week in August, mid-January, and mid-May. The dates for this academic year are posted there on the slide, but and those typically fall in the same weeks, but obviously the dates would be different from one year to the next. Attendance is required. As I said, these sessions are usually on campus. During the COVID pandemic, we've been holding the intensive virtually, but we really value and believe that the face-to-face intensive is optimal, and as long as we can offer that, we will continue to do that. Our curriculum is based on two documents. One is the DNP Essentials. The DNP Essentials is a document that is published by the American Association of Colleges of Nursing, and it was published in 2006. And that document describes the DNP. It describes the competencies that a DNP graduate should attain. Remember, I spoke about the 8 foundational competencies. They are described in this document. And it guides curriculum development. So as you look at DNP programs and compare them, you should see curriculum that matches those 8 essentials. The courses from one school to another may be called by different names, but you should see that the description of those courses match the essentials so that you will have the appropriate competencies when you graduate from the program. And then in 2015, the AACN published a document that, a white paper, the Doctor of Nursing Practice, Current Issues and Clarifying Recommendations. That document did not change the essentials, but it did clarify some things about how the project should be offered or completed. It clarified some things that a project is not. And so I would really encourage you to read both of these documents if you have not. It will help you know what's expected of a doctoral student in the DNP program. It will help you determine whether the DNP is the right degree for you. Maybe you're considering a PhD, or maybe you're considering another degree. So does the essentials resonate with you and how you see your career moving forward? One thing you should know is that these DNP essentials are actually under review, and we expect within the next 1 to 2 years that these essentials may be altered or revised. We don't know what that will look like, but we really believe that the premise of the DNP education will not change considerably to what I've described for you here today. If you have questions, here is my contact information. You can email me. You can access our website if you want to arrange a phone call. Email is really our most efficient way of communicating, but I can arrange a phone call with you, or you can call my office, and if I'm available, I will try to address any questions that you might have. Thank you for your attention, and I hope to see your application in the future.